Well, it felt good having a day off on Sunday. So we're rejuvenated. We're ready to head to practice today and start preparing for a very good Utah State team. They've won 8 in a row, obviously 6-0 in the conference, going to Logan to play them. And interesting enough, it'll be the first place we go to where they're going to have fans in the building. I think I saw their home attendance is like 1,500 fans a game. So they're selling tickets. There'll be fans in the building. What percentage of that of the arena, I don't know, but that'll be a first for us this season.
Hey, Dutch, can you talk about the development of Cueto and how different he is this year compared to last year, compared to when he was a raw rookie? And then I got a follow-up.
Yeah, Cato was very talented as a freshman. He was so athletic and versatile. And then he hurt his knee over the summer. And I thought for a big part of last season, he was rehabbing that knee. He was cautious with it. He wasn't at full strength, but he played through it for the benefit of their team. And this year, he's back to his athletic self. He's moving at a higher pace. His stamina, his conditioning looks better. So we're seeing one of the top centers, not only in our league, but in the country, Thursday and Saturday of this week.
So what's it like for Mensa to have to defend him?
That's been a great matchup, Nathan against him, over the last 2 years. They both have battled hard. Baskets are not easy to come by. Obviously, Nathan didn't get a chance last year to go against him. I just remember the freshman year where they battled so hard. But it'll be good to see Nathan and he going head-to-head again. Obviously, it's not an individual matchup that'll decide the game. It'll be team defense, team offense. But that will be two really good post players going at each other.
And over the years that we've done these conference calls, we've always talked about playing at altitude. Does Thursday have a different feel from what Saturday might be once your kids have been there maybe 3.5 days?
Yeah, obviously, we've talked at length on this. The research shows if you can play within 24 to 36 hours of arriving, the effects are not as great as once you're there more than that time frame. It takes 2 weeks to acclimate. So when we play that second game, I'm sure we'll see some effects. It won't be anything where you're looking out there and guys are falling down tired. It might produce a half step where we're not where we're supposed to be, and that can determine a game. So I'll be watching with great attention to if our guys fatigue quickly, may have to use the bench more frequently and earlier in that second game.
I just asked Matt this. You're going to be on CBS again, and your record on CBS has not been great over the years. Obviously, there was the Kansas win, but a lot of the games are in the tournament or the Mount West tournament final against very good teams. But are you guys aware? Do you think your kids are aware when you're on CBS and maybe a little bit tighter?
I don't think so. I've never seen that. We don't talk on that. And like the point you made, Mark, usually we struggle maybe at times because the opponents are really better. To be on CBS, you're going against two really good opponents against each other. So maybe it's the opponent as much as it is CBS.
From a broader sense of the program, and you've talked about, wanting to get a little more respect nationally, how much does a CBS game help that?
Well, obviously the time is good for us nationally. It'll be, I think, an 11 o'clock start, Mountain Time, which means we'll be in prime time around the country. And so people that are interested in Mountain West basketball and San Diego State will get a chance to see us firsthand. Obviously, the opponent's going to be very difficult. So Utah State is playing really good basketball right now, 8 games in a row. And obviously what happens Thursday will lead into that Saturday game if we break that streak or they're on a 9-game win streak when we play them. So that first game is going to be a real challenge. And then obviously adjustments made. The second game will be for the nation to see.
And is there an update on Keyshawn? Do you expect maybe you'll get him this week?
I think it'll be a stretch. I think we're slowly getting him back. I think more realistically is maybe Air Force, although I'm not saying he won't have a chance to play against Utah State. It all depends on how he looks the next 2 or 3 days and how rehab's going.
And how much does that affect, your rotation? You're talking about maybe being able to needing to go deeper into the bench, not having him and not having Keith also. How much does that, hurt your depth that you talked about so much over the season?
Yeah, well, Keyshawn's been very valuable to us this year. his level of play has grown so much since his freshman year, especially at the defensive end. And now it's hard, coming off the bench from an offensive standpoint, how much to press your game rate away, and he's getting a feel for that. But, yeah, it's going to be great when we get Keyshawn back, and I'd love to have more depth at altitude than what we have right now. So hopefully he'll get closer to getting back. Keith is still a little ways off with the hip, so we're not at full strength, but we'll play with what we have, obviously.
Hey, Coach, when you are playing a game, you're going to be in the same place for a couple of days. You've done that with the NCAA tournament. When you're going to one spot, you're going to be there for a little amount of time. Do you kind of have maybe a blueprint for making a trip like this, just based on being in one place for a couple of days, based on that kind of experience?
Obviously, when you're in one location, I think sometimes being on the road, your prep time is better. Your rest isn't better because you're not in your own place. You have a roommate, but we have more time to meet because we have them in the hotel with us. So sometimes prep is better on the road, but I'd take a home game any day of the week than being on the road for 2.
And are you drinking the beet juice as well?
Not me, not yet, no. I'll take a Advil and deal with an altitude headache, which I get from time to time. But no beet juice for the coaches.
When Matt was kind of showing us that, when you start passing that stuff around, what's the general reaction from the guys? Is it kind of like, really?
They're craving it. I mean, they feel it helps. So we did it last year at altitude. Maybe more important this time because we're going to be extended time at altitude for the next 2 games or 4 games, because from here we come home, then we go to Air Force. So our 4 altitude games are over the next 2 weeks. I'll be interested to see how that goes.
This will be a very different road trip than probably you've ever had before because of all the COVID protocols, Brian. Can you walk us through about what will be different for your team from the minute they leave to go to the airport to the minute they get on the court that first game?
Yeah, Lee, the different things we do, obviously we wear the N95 mask when we get on the bus, when we're on the plane the entire time, and then when we bus from Salt Lake to Logan. Once we get there, we usually enjoy a team meal, but now with COVID, we have prepackaged meals that they take to the rooms so we don't eat together. We'll space out in the meeting room, try to be 6 feet or more apart for film. So we do our film study together, but it's a different feel from years past. Game day, we'll get up in the morning, whatever time they have for us, we'll go get tested, find out what the results are, and then go to shoot around. So there's a whole different feel for these trips than what it used to be. This will be the first time we've been on a plane this season. Obviously, we bust Arizona State. We bust Cal Poly to play St. Mary's. And so we'll be on an airplane for the first time since the season started. So that will be interesting and something we haven't done this year.
And a follow-up, the double whammy of second game at altitude coupled with, 10:30 a.m. body start? What's that going to be like?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, I'd rather have an early start than wait till play at 9 at night. I think the following week, our second game at Air Force is a 9 o'clock night game on a Sunday. So these start times are not easy to deal with, so we'll have to get up earlier at Utah State, have to have pregame earlier, and probably not go to a game day shoot-around, probably just get there a little earlier and shoot before the game starts. So all these are challenges. Obviously, as a coach, you like routine. You like the same start time. You like the same pattern to what you're doing because it gives you a better chance. But TV dictates these times, and we have to have ourselves ready no matter what time we play.
A little off topic, but Malachi Flynn had his first big game in the NBA. I was curious if you got a chance to see any of it and how encouraging that is for a head coach to see success in the NBA.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the game. I saw he had played and had some success. And so Malachi's a good player. But it's a new experience. It's a new league. It's a new team. So it's going to take a while to get his feet wet and to get comfortable. So I'm sure Malachi's going to have a really good freshman or rookie year, I should say. I'm going to say freshman, rookie year. And we all enjoy the success he has and cheer for him every chance we can.
During Utah State's 8-game winning streak, they haven't really played any close games. The closest one, I think, was 13. Does that give you any challenges when preparing a scouting report on them, knowing that, you haven't really seen them in that clutch time since, I guess, probably BYU, right?
Yeah, they had some close contests early in the year. but they've buttoned up their defense. I think they gave up 81 and 85 in 2 of their first 3 games, and now you look and teams are struggling to get to 60. So they've improved drastically defensively. Obviously, Keita is now the all-time leading shot blocker in Utah State history, so he presents an issue around the paint and around the basket scoring over. And the rest of these guys are very good defenders. Craig Smith's a good head coach, and his teams play hard and they play well together. So this is going to be the ultimate challenge for us on the road.
And then just a similar question to that, but now on the offensive side, this is a very balanced team. A lot of bunched up scoring margins and things of that nature. Does that change the way that you approach, your game plan for them?
Well, obviously, Keita gets the majority of the touches, and he scores the ball inside. But the thing he does better than most people around the country in that position is get assists. He's their leading assist man. So when your leading assist man's your center, that creates a problem for the opposition. So he can score and he can pass out of the low post. So he'll present a great challenge. The thing they do better than most teams in the country is rebound the ball. They're probably in the top 10 in the country rebounding, both offensively and defensively. So we're going to have to box out, and we're going to have to do a good job of trying to keep them off the glass.
You just mentioned how well they rebound and how big they are. Does that factor in your decision? You haven't started AG the last few games and gone smaller. Does that factor into your decision whether it's time to put AG back in the starting lineup?
Yeah, and that's something we've been talking about, Mark, with the rebounding. We're concerned about that. I think the last game, they had more rebounds than New Mexico had points. So we know rebounding is a key to the game, and AG's a very good rebounder. And so whether we start him, which I'm thinking about doing, or playing him extended minutes off the bench, we have to do a good job on the glass.
And you just went through 2 games where you saw a team do pretty much the exact same thing defensively against you, and that's just stay out on the shooters and let you go one-on-one inside. Do you suspect you're going to see a lot more of that this season? BYU had success with it, and Nevada did in both those games, even though they lost. And particularly a team that has a shot blocker like Keita near the rim. Do you think you're going to have to see that and deal with that?
Yeah, everyone has a different game plan, obviously, where they feel our strengths lie. With that being said, Jordan and Terrell both had shots that didn't go in for them. So at some level, we have to get more three-point shots on the fast break if they're paying attention to them in the half court. But I liked our post offense against Nevada. If they don't want to double, we've proven more than capable of throwing the ball inside and generating offense.